right. I think we're
live.
Okay. So we are back here. I'm Joanne Clemo, Program Coordinator at Dementia Support Northwest, and I have Dr. Marci Hardy with me today, and we are going to go over tip number 2 for stress management because it is Mental Health Awareness Month. So what do you got for us, Dr. Marci?
Well, thank you so much for having me today. And we are actually sitting outside the offices of Dementia Support Northwest right now because the tip that we're going to do today is about nature. And so if you hear cars going in the background or things, that's because we are actually out in nature talking to you. It's amazing. The sun's shining, so it seemed like the right spot to talk about nature. So as Joanne said, it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and I wanted to talk to people about the importance of connecting with nature and just getting outside whenever possible. There's actually been quite a bit of research done on the health benefits of time spent in nature, and whether that be getting vitamin D from the sun, that be the benefits of increased oxygenation and getting clean, fresh air in your body as opposed to the inside air in your buildings, or just the stress relieving benefits. There's been some studies that looked at what they called forest bathing, and they researched the difference between people who spent their lives in the middle of a great big city and people who were able to just get out in nature a little bit. And that could be as simple as time spent in a park or time spent away out in a forest or in some time. And they found that it really calmed people down and had long-term health benefits. They've also done some research on what's called grounding, and that's the actual concept of touching the earth's surface with your bare feet or your body. And so there's been some, especially in the Eastern culture, some research looking at this concept of, standing in nature with bare feet or lying on the ground, and some health benefits to even those practices. So nature time doesn't have to mean going for a hike or rowing down the river. Right. It can simply mean just spending some time outside. So I want to give you guys a few quick tips on how can you do that, because our lives are busy and not everybody can go to a mountain or to the beach all the time. So one of my favorite things that I like to tell people is, first of all, just try to give yourself an extra moment when you're outside, when you're moving from one spot to another. So instead of fighting for the closest parking spot, go ahead and take the extra time to just park a little bit further and walk in the few steps. Yes, it's not a time spent out in the woods or on a beach, but it still is time spent outside in nature. Yep. Another great tip that I have for people is doing things like we're doing right now. Take your break outside, whether that be at home or at your office. Go ahead and take a few minutes and go outside. Ask your coworkers, are they willing to have their meeting outside? Maybe they'd even be willing to go for a walk during your meeting, like a slow walk, or, again, just sitting outside in the sun. Taking your phone calls outside. My family knows that if at all possible, I'm going to go outside when I have the opportunity to take a phone call, because
it's a good idea.
You're going to be put in one place anyway, so why not, again, have a little benefit of that. Starting in the morning with a cup of your tea or coffee out on your porch is also a great way. Even in the wintertime, I know my father in Montana, it snows a lot at his house, and he has this incredible huge blanket at his house, and we'll go sit underneath the canopy or the awning of the house and watch the snow come down and have a hot cup of drink in the morning with this huge heavy blanket. It's beautiful. So think about, can you start your day with a few minutes outside? Can you take a meal outside? Can you take a phone call outside? Can you even just add a few minutes onto things you already do that are outdoors? Now, the key tip to that, though, is that you need to slow down long enough to connect with the fact that you are outside.
Can you say that one more time?
Right,
I think we all need to hear that one more time.
Yes, the key is slowing down and connecting with this idea that you're outside. So not rushing back and forth through nature, but actually taking a moment to practice a little gratitude of the nature. So just slow down and watch the leaves blow in the wind. Listen to the birds. Listen to the frogs at night. That's amazing right now. I just love to open my front door at night and listen to the frogs. Feel the warmth of your sun. It doesn't have to be 10, 15 minutes. It can just be a couple of seconds, but it's that connection or the intention that really matters.
So I have a question.
Yeah.
So people like me that have very small children, that if I open up the door, it's like a huge can of worms, right? Like
Absolutely.
they go get their shoes already. I can't go outside. People, that are caregivers that have similar issues. What do you do if you're literally stuck inside?
Absolutely. That's a great question, John. Thank you. So if you are stuck in an indoor situation, and I, as a parent with small children and as a mother who's a caregiver, I've been there where we've literally been trapped. And so things like getting next to a window, so finding a spot that's right by a window where you can look outside is a great thing. So again, in the winter, even when it's rainy and maybe your limitation isn't even people, it's environment, and you don't want to go out because of the weather, whatever it is that's keeping you indoors, going by a window where you can look at nature also has great benefits for people. Even things as simple as putting plants, bringing nature inside your house. So can you put more plants in a space? Can you make a cozy little spot for you, again, either by a window or where you can put some plants in a spot to have a relaxation corner, if you want to call it that, for yourself. And then even putting photographs of nature in your space.
I like that idea because I kill plants.
Oh, there you go.
So there's a solution for everybody, guys.
Yeah, so I have hung on my walls in my house photos of nature that we've literally taken and then blown up on canvases and stuff. And so when we go from room to room in our house, we have pictures of nature all over.
Yeah.
And so those are each little options that you can use to bring nature in. And again, if you're in a caregiver situation where it's really hard, a good thing you can do to connect your loved one to the nature so that they'll focus on it and help calm them down, great for children, great for adults too, are things like putting a bird feeder outside the window. So, you know, I remember when my grandfather had Alzheimer's disease, and when he was still alive, my grandmother put a bunch of bird feeders outside the window, and she had hummingbird feeders and different ones, and he would sit with her in the mornings for over an hour, and they would just watch the birds. And it was
It's so
relaxing and incredible. And I know my children, when they were little in the dead of winter, when they wanted to be outside but I didn't want to be out there for hours, that was also a great solution, is we would put bird feeders out and sit and just watch them. So there are lots of great ways. And the last thing I have for you as a tip for people who are indoors is, with the ability to access the internet, which you all have because you're watching us, you can get on YouTube and find great nature videos that are like a meditation. So I have one up on my YouTube channel right now, which is at Dr. Marci Hardy, which is from my trip to Maui a few weeks ago. And it's a turtle that was laying on the beach and then waves that were coming in behind him. And I recorded it because I knew that when I got home, I was going to want to be able to take a brain break every once in a while and just sit and watch the turtle and watch the waves. And I have a few others I'll post up there for you guys too.
And tell us the link to that again.
It's at Dr. Marci Hardy on YouTube. So it's my name on the YouTube channel.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
You're so
And
welcome.
we will be back here next Tuesday, same
Tuesday.
time-ish. We have to find lighting and all that stuff. And we'll have tip number 3. All right.
Awesome.
Bye,
Thanks,
guys.
you guys. See you next week.